Hello and welcome to my night routine. I wanted to show how simple it was to get ready for bed. For me, probably the whole process takes about 6 minutes, and what I'll do is I'll always put my hair up. Obviously, it's when you have long hair, it's the law. Every day is a little different. I'm rarely breaking out anymore. There was a time I was doing benzoyl peroxide and acid maybe 3 times a day. That's when my skin was really bad. Once my skin cleared up, once you're in maintenance, it's super easy. But let's start. I will always use tepid water, not hot, not cold. If you do it too hot, your capillaries will distend, you'll get really red and irritated. You'll irritate existing acne if you have it. And I will be really gentle. I use the extra strength facial shampoo because I'm oily. I just put it in a soap container since it's easier. And I don't wear much makeup anymore, but I will use this cleanser. It is gentle enough to take your makeup off. And you want to make sure that you get everywhere and take your time. The first pass will be to take the makeup off. I will always do a double cleanse if I'm wearing makeup. You'll notice I'm not afraid to get wet. When I do break out, if I do, it'll always be back behind my ears and under here just from exercising and sweating a lot. So I make sure I get those areas. If you're not pulling the cleanser all the way back, you'll still break out. So that was the first pass. And then the second time, just take your time with it. I like to get it super lathery. Feels better that way. And I can make sure that I'm getting everything. The way that I explain it is it's almost like if you're eating off a plate of lasagna and you go to wash it, if you leave a corner of it, it'll still be greasy in that corner, and then when you put product on, it'll sit on top of the grease. So you want to make sure you're getting every spot. And I am right-handed, so what happens is I tend to break out on my right side a little bit more because I do a little bit more of this. Or when I'm washing my face, it's almost more difficult to rinse up under here. So just make sure you take your time. And those of you who use benzoyl peroxide for acne, obviously you know at this point, you do not want to use any fabric or material that is has color to it because it tends to bleach. So I've invested in white sheets for everything. White sheets, white linens, white towels, pillowcase, everything. And you want to just pat dry gently, probably a little bit more gently than I just did. But make sure your skin is very clean and it's specifically dry. In my case, what I'll do next, besides ice, actually I just forgot that, you want to make sure your face is completely dry before you put product on, because if your face is wet and the acid, which is what I'll use, hits it, it will neutralize the acid from working. So right after washing your face, you'll take an ice cube from the freezer. I always get it before I wash my face. I just leave it on the counter. And you just ice your skin. It's pretty simple. It's free. And this is like one of the best things you can do for your skin. Besides the fact that it'll reduce redness and inflammation if you have breakouts, it's kind of like sports injury. You put ice on it, reduces. I'm using this as a natural exfoliant. It's kind of like freezer burn. You just don't want to hold it in one spot for a long period of time because then it'll burn like heat does. And if you ice right before putting your, let's say, moisturizer on, you'll get a deeper penetration of your moisturizer because you've just superficially burned the top layer of your skin. And it's also a nice anti-aging trick. When you put meat in the freezer, it preserves. So that's the ice. After you pat your skin dry, not you, but me, after I pat my skin dry, for me, I use don't know if you can see it, Fresh Correction Pads. This is salicylic and glycolic acid. And what this does, actually does a few things. For me, my skin tends to get very oily and very acne prone. And also I have very faint marks, or I used to have very faint marks from superficial breakouts that I had previously. What this does, your skin cells are kind of locked together like this. So when you put acid on it, it unglues the skin cells, enabling them to fall free, which is kind of what everybody thinks chemical peels are doing, is peeling you. But what it's really doing is just ungluing, detaching cells. The more detaching of cells, the more sloughing you'll get. So in my case, I like to get my skin cells moving because of genetics. They're a little bit slower. I'm getting older now, so they fall off a little bit slower, and I'm also acne prone. And any faint discoloration that I have will fall off because the hyperpigmentation is very, very superficial. It's not like it goes down through the blood layer. So the more dead skin that sloughs off, you're essentially peeling off the discoloration with it. That's a lot of talking, so here we go. Here's the pad. Super easy, and what you want to do, first of all, there's acid in here, so you don't want to scrub your face with it, but gently apply it. And you'll always start on your forehead first and work outside in. That's a little trick, because what you want to do is avoid your eye corners, nose corners, and mouth corners. Almost everyone, it's just a human trait, their skin is much thinner in these areas. That's why they wrinkle up a little bit faster. And for the most part, the outside of their face is a little bit thicker. So I'll always start on the outside because it can handle more and work my way in. While this is drying, I will, I don't know, brush my teeth or something. It takes 2 seconds. And once that's dry, I will put, let's see if you can see that, benzoyl peroxide. This is a 10%. It's water-based, whipped into a gel, so it's super, super light. And when you use this, very little. That's all you need. I don't know if you can see that. When you use this, the trick is getting it messy. Just rub it between your hands like this, get it super, super messy. Again, start at the forehead and work your way in. I make a joke, it's kind of like petting a cat backwards. It doesn't feel right, but if you do it this way, you're more likely to get dry in this area. Anything with acids or acne medications, you always go outside in. Always also wash your hands after, otherwise you'll make the mistake of getting really dry, peely hands. By the time I towel dry, my face is already dry. The product's such a light, thin coat, and these are all water-based, so it sinks into your skin, especially after icing. And then, third and final step, my hyaluronic moisturizer. Hyaluronic's pretty big right now, or has been for a little while. Hyaluronic is something that my body, or everybody's body, naturally produces, but as you get older, you produce less of it. It's not Botox, but Juvederm and Restylane. It's fillers. When they're injecting filler into you, they're injecting hyaluronic acid in. So what happens is it puffs. Without getting too scientific, if you take a water molecule and a hyaluronic molecule and mix them together, it puffs. It works like a sponge. So they've infused it in a lot of eye creams and moisturizers. Everyone's skin is different. I'm really oily. So in my case, I will only put it in the areas that I'm dry, because I know in 5 minutes I'm gonna get oily again. It's not, you can't use the same thing. Everybody's skin is different. So when you use it, I always take it out with this finger, just because it's not very strong. So you can avoid picking up too much product in your hand and save the product. And also, I apply it with that finger, so I'm not pushing too hard. And then again, for me, this is the only place I'll put it. Maybe once in a while I'll kind of go like that, but I don't necessarily need that much. So that's pretty much my night routine. It took probably start to finish, and I went a little longer just because I'm doing a video, 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Could probably get it down to 6 minutes. The nights that I don't use acid or benzoyl peroxide, I will use a vitamin C complex. But this is more of a hydrating serum. It's a great antioxidant. I don't know if you know, but your body cannot produce collagen without vitamin C. So I've been using more and more of this as I'm getting older, and it makes a nice little shine. But I've just put the acid and the benzoyl peroxide on, so the nights I don't like to do them both together. So I'll do the vitamin C in the morning underneath my moisturizer and sunscreen. Maybe one day I'll do a morning routine as well. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed my night routine.